All right, Broncos country. I can see you guys out there waiting. Column is late, as I was going to say usual, but he's never late. Welcome back to the Mile High Monsters. You know what? There are two sides to every story, and I think this one might fall somewhere in between. There is the what the hell are we doing? What the hell are we not doing? And then there's the camp that says relax. It's all part of the plan. This is a good thing. Colum and I are going to debate that today on this show, and we're also going to get into uh, kind of these not so secret moves the Broncos are making, guys. They are heading for a big trade. We'll see if Colum believes that when he gets on the show. But first of all, welcome back, everybody. I'm Mike Carmelini. It's wonderful to see you guys again. This is turning into kind of a daily event for us. I'm already seeing all my favorite names in the chat already. We'll get to all of you. At least I hope I will. Sometimes it gets out of control and we can't get to all of you. But here we are, our 14-3 Broncos, refusing to improve the team so far. So far being the key word. But moves are on the way. I have an understanding that a trade is being worked on. Could be close to the trade deadline, or not the trade deadline, but closer to the draft. Nonetheless, we're creating some cap space. I'm starting to shift back to the not a complete disaster, although I missed out on all 5 of my favorite free agents that I wanted. If you watched last night, you saw that list. I might bring that one back up. But yeah, Colum sent a message a minute ago, said he was running just a couple minutes late. Now, if you know Colum, he's Dublin, Ireland, and you can't depend on the Irish, especially when I'm wearing a St. Paddy's Day shirt that says Dublin on it. I can't believe I honored him the way I did. But here we are, honoring our good friend Colum Cronin with a Dublin shirt, and then he shows up late. Can he hear me? And can I hear you?
I can indeed. Yeah. Well, Irish, I mean, we exist on the concept of ish. And
Ish.
yeah, ish. And my laptop decided it needed to reboot after I had it all set to go. But here we are, ready to talk Broncos.
We are going to talk Broncos. We are going to have a little bit of a debate today. Colum and I started out on the same side as Colum. I'm starting to drink the copium and the orange Kool-Aid here. We're gonna get all that and more.
He's in the
He's
orange
towing the
Jones
company
town.
line. Carmelini has jumped the shark. All of that's coming. Get ready for it. Welcome to the show. Well, guys, it doesn't get any better than this. It's Sunday afternoon. We have our St. Paddy's Day clubhouse at Kelly's Country Club. St. Paddy's Day, it's one of our biggest days. I got the new shirt just for you, Colum. It says Dublin My Vision. So expect the wife and family to come home. I might have to go pick somebody up today. How are you, sir? How's Dublin, Ireland treating you? And I want to ask these nice questions before. I mean, I can see the writing on the wall. Okay, I know where this conversation is going to go. Now, I'm not on the ledge anymore, but I'm still peeking over it. How are you, sir? It's good to see you.
Good to chat. And yeah, it's been a week and lots of differing opinions. And I think you can guess, what my particular annoyance has been this week. And it's, believe it or not, it is not, number one is not the Broncos not signing anyone.
Okay, can I guess? Can I guess what? It's the people that they are signing back. That's the problem.
That is not the number one. That's not the number one thing that annoyed me either. I mean, that's higher than.
Oh, no. It's the way the media portrays it as the greatest plan in the world.
You are correct, Michael Carmelini. It is indeed. And it's not even that. It's the way in which the media has twisted and turned. And prior to this time last week, okay, it was Broncos. They've identified the areas they need to strengthen. They're going to go out there. Legal tampering, which is, you know, an oxymoron in its own right, is going to open on Monday, and watch, we're going to sign. They're going to strengthen and we're going to push on, and then nobody signed. This is the plan. This is what we always wanted. Guys, get on board the train. We're all aboard. Go Broncos. Whoop, whoop.
I'm still go Broncos, first of all.
I'm always go Broncos, but like, are we fans or are we cultists, right? One or the other, because it's crazy to me. I'm not losing. People are going to be like, oh, why get us? I'm not losing any sleep. I'm not worried. I know I can't control this, but we can criticize, right?
Yes.
Particularly, we can criticize the hypocrisy that has existed. Draft and develop is the only way to win. The last 7 Super Bowl winners all had major free agency acquisitions. Are the Eagles winning a Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley? No, they're not.
Sam Darnold.
We
they
could
weren't
go
winning without
Sam Darnold.
Like,
I mean, it wasn't just like the Seahawks spent major money last year. You go back. I don't get me wrong. I still think the Broncos are like a 10-11 win team. I still think we're a very good team. Do I think that are capable of beating the Rams right now? No. Do I think we could still absolutely make a move? Yes, I totally see that. But what I think will be hilarious is all of the people who have lined up over the past 3-4 days suddenly become draft and develop guys will be doing jigs. They'll be doing Irish jigs on St. Patrick's Day, Michael Carmelini, when we sign somebody, and it'll be, look, we signed somebody. This is the Broncos made a much needed signing. Hang on, 3 days ago you told me we didn't need anybody, and this is the way bringing everybody back was brilliant.
For the first time in the history of Earth, Mike Kliss sent a tweet even minutely questioning the process. He said it's day 5 of free agency, and the Broncos are the only team that has yet to sign an outside free agent. I get draft and develop, but this is unprecedented. Come on, guys. You mean there's not even a swing tackle out there? I mean, if Mike Kliss is pulling the alarm bells, it's probably okay to pull the alarm bells. Now, do I think there is a plan? Yes. Do I agree with the plan? Not necessarily. I had a list. We all had lists. We had shopping lists. It's like my wife went to the store and came home with absolutely nothing in the bag. So I get it. Now, Colm Cronin, dear friend, we just restructured Cooper. We gained $8 million in cap space.
Mm-hmm.
The green law release post June 1st will free up another $6 million. The Broncos are going to make a move, I say. Now, if I were to tell you that they were going to make a big move at wide receiver, would that make you feel better if it happens? Yes. Depending on who it is, of course. Now, but my question to you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that is actually what the Broncos are doing, and I'm not just coming up with copium? Are they just stockpiling cap space for next year? Or I know they have targets. They need depth. They're going to pick up some depth pieces. This is all coming in the following weeks. There's going to be people that are signed after the draft. There's going to be people signed right before camp. So there's going to be signings, but the splash signings certainly are gone. And I was never arguing to rebuild the entire roster. I didn't think that was the case. But we perfectly identified our areas of weakness, certainly on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not even going to go Singleton, so don't even start on defense.
Defense wasn't my issue. We
we're the
discussed it.
third scoring
anyone who
defense in the
watches
league.
that
Yeah.
is no that was never where I don't think you or I certainly, and nor Stuart or I on Dublin to Denver were ever advocating for the Broncos to spend big on defense.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's sensible. All right. Yeah, you have the lunatics, right? They'll always exist. I don't think anyone sensible was arguing for more than a signing or two, if that's what people wanted.
Yeah. Now the release of Greenlaw. Now, when we signed back Sternad, I was happy about that. There was a lot of freaking out about re-signing Singleton. Now, Singleton is not the best inside linebacker out there, nor was he the best that was available to us at the time. But it wasn't a deal breaker for me because that side of the ball is good enough to get us where we need to go, but just not on their own. It's still the strength of the team, but it doesn't have to be. And so I am on the offensive side of the ball, and the offensive side of the ball is where I do get a little ticked off because we are running back. This team, this roster that you see in front of you is from 2025. Now, I dare you to find a substantial change anywhere on this offense. It is exactly the same. I'm still looking for somebody.
No. I have seen it, Mike. And I've got good news, right? Because
you have good news.
I do. According to Broncos Twitter, Broncos social media, and Broncos media writ large, the good news is that all our young players are going to develop and take giant steps, and nobody else's young players are going to do that. Just the Broncos. So that's the good news, right? Only the Broncos players develop. So happy days. And they all develop, and they all take exponential jumps together at the same time. So we're sorted.
I feel like there's some sarcasm there. I feel like you're being a little facetious. I'm just guessing. Look, man, I'm going to debate this side. You debate your side. We'll let the chat decide. But yeah, okay. We didn't do anything. Quick question though. Goddard was just re-signed to the Eagles. Okay, so they got it worked out. The word on the street is that the Eagles might not be able to afford or want to afford both Goddard and A.J. Brown. Now, we did get trade rumors about A.J. Brown last week. I got them separate from what was put out on Twitter. So when I saw the tweet about how these two teams were involved in the AJ stuff and Broncos weren't mentioned, I didn't pay much attention to it. I don't know if that means the Broncos were not interested, but that's not the information I have, but that they are being very cautious with that money. But I do think they're building towards something. I don't think free agency. Okay, first of all right, back up. I know I'm a little scatterbrained. I just came from a St. Patty's Day party, so my blood alcohol content is probably just below the legal limit. Breece Hall, Tyler Algier. Name your free agent running back. Well, Breece wasn't a free agent running back, but there were several players there. There were several wide receivers out there. There were several tight ends out there in free agency. All I was asking was, fix a room. Fix one of these, at least fix one of these rooms. And that didn't happen. And I think that's where my disappointment comes in. I was never, first of all, I don't think they had the cap space. They could create it, but I just needed them to do something there. Depending on the draft, for a starter is going to be really tough when I look at this Broncos roster now, if you're looking at running back, it's J.K. Dobbins as your starter. If you're looking at Cortland Sutton as your wide receiver one, I don't see anybody else out there now that can take that place aside from a trade. Tight end is Ingram. So those three rooms have their starter. You're not going to draft a starter unless like Sadiq or somebody like that falls to the Broncos, which I find highly unlikely. So my question to you, did we miss the opportunity to upgrade those positions, or is there still hope? And if so, is it only in a trade at this point? I'm talking about day one starters on the team.
Oh yeah, at this point, it is only a trade, and again, I don't think the wide receiver room is the room that worries me the least in many respects. I'd be very circumspect of going out and giving up a lot for AJ Brown, because I think that the tight end room and the running back room in particular, and I get it, right? Broncos country loves J.K. Dobbins, and J.K. Dobbins says all the right things. And J.K. Dobbins has been rowdier than the rowdiest Irishman who ever did rowdy on St. Patrick's Day after consuming.
Even Rowdy Piper.
Even Rowdy Piper. I get it. He's also never played a full season. So why is he suddenly going to do that? And so that was the area. If I was making a big splash trade, I'd be looking more at the tight end room if I was looking at that. But the thing is, we've brought all these guys back, so you're gonna be cutting guys. If you end up, and that can be fine.
That's fine. With the contracts they gave out to some of these guys, they're basically camp bodies. They can be cut at any time.
I mean, they can absolutely, but it's
these aren't guaranteed contracts. If they don't make the team, they don't get paid.
Indeed, but the little bits and pieces certainly add up. I mean, look, it's an interesting one. I think to me, unless you are going out, I wouldn't make a trade for AJ Brown. I just wouldn't do it. I don't think it moves the needle in terms of what else we need, because I think your issue is going to be J.K. Dobbins, when he's on the field, is absolutely brilliant. He gives his all. He brings it all every single play. But how confident are we that he's going to play every single game? And when, if he does get injured, what's the plan there? When does it happen? How does it impact us? And so that would be the concern that I have. And what it strikes me a little bit as, Mike, is if you go back, a long way, there was a team that took a quarterback that people felt it was a bit of a reach, and that quarterback in his second year,
is this a Drew Lock take?
No, good God. Well, look, we could go into that. That's a whole other thing. That's an example of the media, never apologizing and pretending that, ignoring exactly what they said, right? To turning on a sixpence. No, I'm talking about Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson won MVP in his second season. The Ravens never put pieces around him. The Ravens have always been competitive, but they never put pieces really around Lamar Jackson. And that was a problem for them. And I think, it baffles me when you have a QB on that rookie deal. And I think our friend Zach Seegers has made this point a number of times. Bo Nix should be around for the next 10 plus years. Okay. You can of course build around Bo, but it will never be as easy to build around Bo as it is for the next few years.
Yeah. J.K. Dobbins, 10 games played, 153 carries, 772 yards, 5 yards per carry. So definitely the guy when he's on the field.
Absolutely. Incredible back when he's on the field.
I know you're not arguing that. The argument that we've had that you shared is the Hobbit backfield that was behind him with J.K., Bidet, and McLaughlin, who we've run it back with. All three of these guys are 5'8", about 200 pounds. Basically, I'm 6 foot 182. Now, RJ Harvey would absolutely break me in half because he's a little bowling ball. But the problem is that, and it's early, I still believe the Broncos will fix that mistake from last year. They can't hedge that bet full on. I'm very happy about the J.K. Dobbins signing, personally. Like, love having him back. Love him as a teammate, love his heart, love his play on the field. But you can't ignore the injuries. Colin, the Broncos are going to have to bring in sort of second tier, third tier running back, 5'10", 225 pounds, who can pick up a 3rd and 2. I mean, they have to. That has to be part of the plan. Marky comes in and said, Mike, this isn't the plan. There's no way it could be. People are just trying to make themselves feel better. Marky, don't worry about me making myself feel better. I always get lucky. I'm the luckiest person you know. I've got a freaking shamrock on my shirt. I'm so lucky. I'm wearing green. No, I don't think that was the plan. I think they went cheap. They were certainly in on ETN, who we're calling now Achan, whatever. It's like a Bidet, Beatty situation again, changing our names, new team. But Travis Etienne, they were in.
Shock.
I tried to tell you, and I was right.
Yeah.
It's always been Shuck. But the ETN trade kind of pissed me off because we paid JK $20 million over 2 years. Essentially, it's an $8 million one-year contract. And I think ETN went for like $13 million a year. I haven't seen the numbers on it. That seems like, I've heard the excuse how he wanted to go home. But a couple $1 million could have made Denver his home. And that would have made me feel a little bit better. Like I said, we didn't need to revamp the whole roster. We have a good roster. But we don't have any weapons for Bo. Some real weapons. You said the wide receiver room is the least of your worries out of these rooms.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I think it's good.
I mean, you're picking flies out of you're trying to pick which is the least problem.
I mean, I really don't rate the tight end room in any way, shape, or form.
So you're down on it. Are you down on Evan Ingram as well?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen anything.
All right, so here's the first thing we really disagree on. Now, he had 40 targets last year.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best separation in the league, and the play design just were not to go to him. I'm coping that Davis Webb is going to actually use the tight ends this year. And I think Ingram could be, every time he got the ball, Colin, he looked good with the ball. He didn't fall straight to the ground. A lot of his yards, he had the most yards after the catch than players with a ton more catches than him. So he's good with the ball if he can get the ball in his hands. I have a better feeling for you. So Cortland Sutton had 124 targets, 74 catches for 1,000 yards. Okay, there's your number one receiver. He had 220 yards after the catch. Ingram had 50 catches on 76 targets. It's a pretty good ratio, actually, for only 461 yards. But he had 302 yards after the catch. Like, get the ball to this guy, and he will do something with it. I just don't blame Ingram as much as you. The rest of the wide receiver room, needs to be added to. But Ingram, I don't think is the problem. I think it was the play calling. That's just my take on that. I think the wide receiver room needs a true take the top off George Pickens, AJ Brown, BJT, like spend some money, spend some draft capital, fix that room, and we can get some mid-tier guys that are better than our low trash tier guys in that tight end room and probably make that one operate. And then we need a backup running back. And while you throw that in my face, I'm going to go turn this thing off over here across the studio. So thoughts on that? Wide receiver room needs a number one. Cortland's just not it anymore. He's a solid number two.
Yeah, like I think you could certainly make that argument. I think Courtland Sutton has been a wonderful servant. I think he is still a very good wide receiver. Is he an elite wide receiver at this point of his career? No. Would I love to see us have a 1-2 like we had, when we had DT and Sanders?
Sanders,
of course. That would be wonderful. I just think you have seen now in the last 2 years, Evan Ingram hasn't gone over 500 yards. And I think that is an issue. And I think I keep going back to it. Like, I think you really need a really good, running back two. But my fear on the running back room is what if George Payton really means it? What if he really thinks that RJ Harvey can be RB1? RJ Harvey can be a great weapon. I think it's wonderful. When he's receiving the ball out of the backfield, fantastic, great vision, ability to find the end zone, but he's not RB1. He never will be RB1, but I have a real fear that maybe George Payton means it, and maybe that's what we're going to see. We're going to see, them try to make RJ Harvey, running back one if and when J.K. Dobbins goes down.
I don't think that it's possible. I just disagree. I don't think it's his skill set. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great player to have on the team. He's a touchdown magnet. He scored more touchdowns than anybody else on the team. He did have some incredible runs that looked like losses and turned them into 25-yard runs. So he has a place, but I don't want to hand him the ball off when it's 3rd and 3. And I want to be able to hand it off to somebody that can get me 3 yards. And if not, get me 2.5 yards, and then we can just put them in again and get that last half yard. That would be handy. Can't do that with the guys we've got. Big E says if we do not make a trade and we sign this guy to a decent-sized contract, that will hurt compensation, comp picks. I'm assuming that's what Pensacola is. I don't care too much about the compensation picks, the comp picks.
That's pure spin. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing. And that anyone, because the Jags GM went out and put it. And again, I hope people are beginning to see the way in which this all works, right? The insiders queue up, right? Because they desperately need access, the national insiders in particular, and anything like a team tells them, they will run with, and they will tell them that this is the best thing. So the Jags, imagine going out and saying publicly, right? No, we didn't sign anyone. We want those 4th round picks. Oh yeah, that's what we want. And then
a 4th and a 7th.
Muroff and others say genius, absolute 4D chess. These guys are playing. No, I mean, you look. There are no guarantees in the NFL. Absolutely none. Josh Allen has never been to a Super Bowl, as good as a QB as he is. Joe Burrow got to one. Bengals thought they'd kind of be knocking on the door every year. Far from it. And the Bengals have taken a real step back. Now they have, some of the worst owners in the league. In stark contrast to us, we have owners who are prepared to spend big, and that's a great thing. I'm not saying at all expect the Broncos to be fully competitive. I think we are still by far, right, as we sit here today, in the middle of March, the best team in the AFC West. It doesn't come down to that. But could you see, I don't think, and I know some people would disagree, we'd have given them a hell of a better game than the Patriots. I don't think we were beating the Seahawks.
I don't either. I think we beat the Pats though.
Oh yeah, I know 100%. But the Rams have gotten better this offseason, undoubtedly. I would have the Rams as and we're in March. There's a lot to be played, but the Rams have when you look at that roster, they have looked to address some of the issues that they have. Now it comes down to Matthew Stafford's health. Can he stay healthy? If he can play to the level, obviously. But right now, I don't think there's a team in the AFC who could live with the Rams.
Well, we're a long ways to the end of the rope. All right. So
we are indeed.
But I agree. The NFC was the stronger conference last year. Now, I agree with you here. The Broncos they're already a competitive team, even if they sit pat. But other teams have gotten better. Next season, I don't see going 14-3. It's going to be a tougher schedule. Other teams have improved. Some of those games that we won on Bo Nix's miracle wins will fall back to the mean, or could. We certainly don't know anything, and we don't know if the Broncos will go 17-0 next year, or we don't know. We probably know that. All right, but anyways, the Seahawks certainly were the class, I think, of the league last year. It was going to be the Rams or the Seahawks. I think most of us knew that. The Super Bowl would have been nice just to be there. Would have given us another 2 weeks of getting excitement. I think the Broncos played the Seahawks better than what the Patriots put on the field that day. That was just a disaster. Some terrible numbers. Their offensive line.
If Sam Darnold was a better QB, we could have been looking at kind of 49ers Broncos type score.
Don't bring that up on the show ever again.
I don't mind those losses. There you get blown out that bad. I think it's the close one.
It's the close heartbreaker where you screw something up that's worse. David Young and the Broncos have gotten worse. The Broncos have gotten worse, David. Yes. We lost JFM. We lost Greenlaw, who had potential but couldn't stay on the field and couldn't learn the defense. But still, with JFM going, just him alone, you can't argue that the Broncos have stayed the same. They have gotten worse, but at least they got worse on the defensive side of the field, where the defense will probably still be able to hold its own. They lost JFM and Lack. So PJ Lack, I forgot about that. That's a depth piece. That one could come back and bite us, Column. That's going to be, I think that, at least I hope, that the PJ Lack replacement will come from a late free agency signing and not an early draft pick. I'm not on board with drafting early a safety this year. I know there's a name being thrown around or two where if this guy falls to the Broncos at 30, they could take a safety. You will absolutely see me blow my mind if that happens. Not with the weapons that Bo Nix has. I want to see one of these running backs or wide receivers or tight ends come out of that first round, and I never get what I want. But PJ Lack, what do you think about that? I thought he was okay. I thought he had a few good games. His big interception in the Buffalo game was an interception, just on a floaty pass that anybody would have made or should make as a professional. So I guess I'm not heartbroken, and I'm also just so happy for PJ because he went to Dallas. He got jersey number 1. You can tell he's excited to be there. But yeah, 2 losses on defense. But yeah, clearly the Broncos are a worse team than they were when they ended, pending, I guess, J.K. Dobbins just being healthy.
Yeah, but I mean, you're never going to be able to bring everybody back. That's
we sure can.
Well, we're bringing almost everybody.
We brought
back.
everybody back we wanted to. Apparently, we didn't want JFM.
No,
nor should we have. Nor should we have. I defend the Broncos on that because JFM, as much as I wanted him, that was a splash signing for
Titans,
and we didn't have that kind of money to spend on a position of nice to have him back. It's not a position of need. It would have been nice to have him back.
Well, yeah, like you can't pay everybody top money, and ultimately DTs are going to earn big because it is a key position, and we always knew that he in particular was one that was likely to move on. So like that piece, that was never ever happening. He talked about it during the season. Like he talked about it during the season. He talked about it at the end of the season. Like everybody knew he was going to the Titans before that was done. But he had said himself in October and November that the Broncos hadn't reached out to him. So that piece was not a surprise.
Rodney comes in. He says, "Are they being smart with their money?" I think he's making a joke here. Well, they have a lot of money. If it's cap space, they might be saving that up for something, but it's not money, right? We don't have to worry about money. We got Walmart money. Ron Arter. Ron's always angry with me for my negative takes, but we lost defensive players, but they have good depth. So I'm not on the gotten worse bandwagon just yet. Well, Ron, you don't have to be on the bandwagon because we welcome all fans, even fans from other teams here, and we welcome all opinions. We don't know who's right, but objectively, if you lose JFM and you lose PJ Lack and you only brought back players, they brought back every single player that touched the ball last year, except for Sherfield, and that doesn't really count. Like every single person who caught the ball, ran the ball, was handed off the ball, is back. And they lost JFM and PJ Lack. So I don't know how you can say they have not gotten worse. I'll be curious to see. Now they could sign Cam Jordan at least. Now I have heard that. I've been saying we had 21 on free agency. If we let them walk, we're replacing them, starting from scratch with new players. So what about Ron? What about Lucas Krull? Now, he was a player on the team. He lasted a couple games before he blew his Achilles. I had to be reminded of that because I didn't miss him at all last year. Bringing back Jaleel McLaughlin, bringing back Tyler Bidet, running it back with John Franklin Meyer. Like these moves don't mean anything to me. Like it's if you're replacing JFM with Jawan Jennings, or you're replacing Jaleel McLaughlin from the running back from the Commanders, whatever his name was, Rodriguez or whatever his name was, then that's an upgrade. So just bringing them all back isn't necessarily a good thing when you're bringing back players that were like bottom of the league players. Like these are players that are not really worth bringing back, in my opinion. What do you say to this comment, Column? And be nice to my subscribers here.
Look, people are going to have different opinions. I do think, like, we have. I mean, I think there is a great culture in the locker room. I think you've seen guys who play for each other. I think you've seen guys go to the well, and I think there's a nice feistiness in certain respects. I think we could add a little bit more of that to the secondary, perhaps. But it was like this offseason was only ever about adding one or two guys into the mix. I felt because we're close, or we were close last season. You never know how it's going to shake out the next season, but there's lots to like. It was just to add little bits and pieces. But yeah, I mean, like, it's very interesting to be bringing back tight ends 3 and 4, and to make that decision to do that. I can get, I suppose, in many respects, if you choose to. And again, Peyton and Peyton making the choices, they see it. But if you're bringing back the tight ends 1 and 2, because you're deciding to do it, but when you kind of are adding everybody back, it's just an interesting one. And it's interesting to me that we are paying QB2 so much money.
$8
relatively.
million.
Yeah.
And we signed Ellinger back. I guess I'm going to be surprised if Jarrett Stidham's still on the team when the new year starts. So here are your in-house free agents re-signed. Jaleel McLaughlin to a 1-year deal. Tell me when one moves the needle for you. Jordan Humphrey 1-year deal. Adam Prentice. Nothing.
Adam Prentice is a good fullback, but unless you're Kyle Shanahan, and the fullback is generally not a position, whereby it really moves the needle. I think he's a solid player, but unless you're really of the Shanahan tree, it's not a needle mover.
It's not a big mover. Rushing stats. I'm looking for Prentice had 10 carries for 44 yards, no touchdowns. So not a needle mover, but not a bad one for me.
No, that was fine.
And it's a 1-year deal. They brought Matt Henningsen back. They brought Lucas Krull back on a 1-year deal. Alex Singleton comes back. Of course, that's the big one, on a 2-year deal. J.K. Dobbins.
I think maybe one of the reasons around Singleton is he is the
if you say green dot,
no, I'm not going to say green dot in that.
Shit my pants.
He's the one who gets it. I think they like him because he's the one. He's the guy on defense more than anyone else who gets in guys' faces. All right, and you watch it. He is. You need a bit of needle. Like, it is a physical game. These are gladiators going at one another. You need somebody who is prepared to talk smack. We had that when Talib was around in space. That was a totally different defense. But this is a guy who gets in people's faces constantly. He's chirping at them. You need that, and I think they like that. I think they like his leadership. I think they like having him around the locker room. Obviously, they do, given that they're paying him. But I think it's not the green dot factor. It's the chippiness and the desire to like. A lot of people don't like confrontation. They tend, even players, they tend not to seek it out. Certain people love it, and they look to they deliberately look to bring it. And I think sometimes, especially when the chips are down and you're looking to get a rise out of the team, that's part of it. So I think that may have factored in. You know, do I worry a little bit about the inside linebacker room? Absolutely, but do I think that is going to be key to whether we're super successful or not? I don't think so. Now, I will say it's a really interesting year for the Broncos, right? Because the Broncos have been one of the top defenses in the league for the last 2 years now, right? Perhaps not number one, you know, but in and around, you know, the top 3 to 5. It's very difficult to maintain that. And if VJ manages to do that, you know, in next season, he should have his pick of the jobs. Certainly, it should not be a case of needing to go to, you know, full franchises like the Cardinals or the Raiders. He should have his pick. But it is difficult to do that. And that is something worth bearing in mind, that defense tends to fluctuate more than offense. And the Broncos have been so good on defense for the last couple of years now.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of the ones that's as down on the Singleton signing as others. Then it's J.K. Dobbins, which I'm fine with. Ellinger comes back on a 1-year deal. Nate Atkins. Adam Troutman gets a 3-year contract. For some reason, he is just loved in that building. I wouldn't have hated Adam back on a 1-year deal. He's not awful, but when you put him on a 3-year deal, that likely means he's coming back. And honestly, what else is out there unless it's in the draft? With Goddard being gone, it looks like it might be Troutman now. And Njoku, I guess, is the talk of the town today. So there's still a possibility that tight end room could be upgraded via.
I think Njoku. I think that to me, that ship has sailed a little bit. Like his best days are behind him.
Are his best days better than Troutman's best days?
It depends on what the price point is. I mean, you've given Troutman pretty, like, you've given him a 1-year deal. I mean, any of these deals are very cuttable, right? Even Dobbins, you know, essentially that's really a 1-year deal. So Troutman is there for a year. Yeah, I can see it. What you might bring in Njoku. I think that the window in the NFL is so small a lot of the time. And we get fooled into it because there are certain guys who, you know, play at the top level for maybe a longish time, but we forget that generally it's very short, even for like the elite, right? Like, you know, most people are not, like, not even most people, like Jerry Rice is the absolute outlier. Okay.
Right.
Brady, as much as we don't like him, is the absolute outlier. You know, it's much more likely like Luke Kuechly. Okay, Kuechly was phenomenal. Kuechly retired early. Barry Sanders decided he had enough. Yeah, when he's playing the Detroit, so you can maybe understand it a little bit more. But the thing is that sometimes we get enamored with names and their production, you know, 3 years ago. And 3 years ago in the NFL is a lifetime. You know, it's very difficult unless there have been some, you know, something that was holding them back. They were in a really bad situation with a team. But to have a renaissance like that, it can happen. It can absolutely go to a new team, new play caller, better situation. But it's tough to see.
David Youngkin, some of the re-signings of their players were a waste of money. For example, Troutman, I'm not going to call him trash man. Singleton and Bidet. Now, so far, we'll have to really check that. We'll have to see what the out is on Troutman. Singleton could have been upgraded. Bidet plays special teams. I checked his snap counts. I was curious why they brought him back. It looked like he did play quite a bit of special teams last year. So that might be more of a special teams signing. And it's a 1 year minimum. Yeah, a waste of money, but probably not a season killer.
Yeah, exactly.
The season killer is not upgrading the rooms that need to be upgraded, at least a couple of them, or at least pick one. And I had everybody pick one on the show. I think most people wanted a running back. This was before JK. I wanted a number one receiver. Seattle's number one receiver column last year had 1,700 yards in receiving. Cortland had 1,000. In fact, I'll do one better for you. If you took all the number one weapons for Seattle, they accounted for 33 touchdowns. This is wide receiver, tight end, and running back. 33 touchdowns. Broncos had 19. So this is a lack of weapons, a lack of explosiveness. This is all on Bo, and it shouldn't be.
That is my concern, is that it is all on Bo, and you put it all on him last year, and he did it. But you can't keep asking him to go to the well time after time after time after time. That is the piece I think is that is kind of so challenging.
It is. Ron comes back in. He believes everyone's upset that George and Sean didn't pick their players that they wanted. Yeah, I am. I wanted Tyler Algier to back up J.K. Dobbins for $6 million. Definitely could have been run. Kate Otten, I would have loved to have seen him in our tight end room. Yeah, there were some moves that I would have liked to have seen, but that's not the only reason that I'm upset. It's for what we've already said ad nauseum. You identify a position that could be upgraded, and then you just fail to do so. It's not really that they didn't get my guys. I never believe they're going to get my guys in the draft or free agency. That's just my wish list. So I said Friday before the illegal tampering. On Monday, Broncos would not do anything. Good on you. Good call. I should have had you on the show, and then maybe I'd be less disappointed. Ron Otter, this is a matter of fact of opinion. David Singleton is a better linebacker. This is a matter of opinion, David.
Yeah, I think they were going back and forth in the chat.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Dave from David Talks Broncos, because we do shows every week, and I thought that, well, this is definitely not David. Singleton's a better linebacker than the media gives him credit for. I think the media actually gives him credit for being pretty good. It's the rest of us. I don't consider us media, but I guess maybe we are. I don't know. Considered that by some people, but we're one step beyond just watching the games and then talking about them. We do go out and do some work, but it's just a YouTube show. So let's be honest. But I don't think he's. I would say it this way, Colin. I would say Singleton's not as bad as some people want to make him. His weakness. He's got a few weaknesses. One, he's going to be 33 this year. He's already slow. He does not cover well out of the backfield. Some of that's on VJ. He's putting him in that position to be the one to cover that. Maybe Jade Barron needs to become more involved, because that's just a wasted first round pick. But we could do a whole show on the drafts, and with 6 months before games start playing again, we'll have plenty of time to rehash that. Rodney, we're in a Super Bowl window. We don't have time to develop young players. We need to at least add an elephant in the room, veteran-wise. Colin, I assume you agree with Rodney on this. Window's open. We need to get somebody in here to help this team.
Yeah, again, you kind of look at the last two Super Bowl winners, right? The Seahawks and the Eagles, and Saquon is the difference maker for the Eagles. And then the Seahawks go out and obviously they spend big on Darnold. They spend big on Cooper Kupp, and they spent big on Lawrence in defense, and it paid dividends. So I would be like, if I don't think it would happen, but I would be more willing to spend big, like as in make a big trade for a tight end who could come in rather than the free agent or the wide receiver, because I think that's a position where being a vet helps, although we're beginning to see that change a little bit. So look, that would be, I would have, now they franchise tagged him, but would they be open to trading in Kyle Pitts? I think that could be, but we will see. Like at the same time, now it's going to look different next year, right? Because it's Davis Webb rather than Sean Payton. What has been hilarious in way, and I think we have to see. I mean, I think there's reason to be optimistic and hopeful that Davis Webb will be really good, but we don't know. But I will say that the tight end usage, certainly, Mike, I agree with you there. I don't know if Evan Ingram is the right guy, but I do think, yeah, the usage has been, it's like it's football from a bygone era. Right, it's brave what the Broncos have done, because they have underutilized that position to such a degree that you watch other teams do things and you're like, you can do that, you can use your guys like that, and yet the Broncos have been successful playoffs the last 2 years. Should have gone to the Super Bowl this year, despite the fact of underutilizing the tight end. So maybe that's why we didn't do it, because Sean is like, we're
not going to use them anyway, so why bother?
But it is our tight end usage. It's like those old videos of football before the forward pass. You're like, wow, look at that.
Come on, man. I mean, well, maybe with just regard to the tight ends, but
the rest, I like Sean Payton, amazing, play designer. I think fans have piled on him a little bit. I think kudos to him for handing it over. We'll have to see. But yeah, the tight end usage is just quite something.
Vic, yeah, it looks like the apocalypse is here. That's what it sounds like. Ron Arter, the one thing nobody has said is how much has Webb been an influence on who he brought back? He may have plans we never thought of. I think he's probably in the room. I think this is probably most Sean Payton just rolling it back. And again, it's early. The plan might be, and I know Marquee Sports was in here earlier, by the way. Follow Marquee Sports. He's fantastic. He was saying that this isn't the plan, that they just screwed up. Maybe they'll get lucky. I don't know. I think they missed out on a couple players early, and their plan was to land an ETN or someone, and then when that didn't work out, they said, "Okay, we're not spending money on anybody else. We'll bring these guys back on 1-year deals that we can cut anytime we want. Have our roster. We'll build our 90 out, and we'll see who's available post June 1st. We'll see who's available." And the third wave of free agency for depth, and then still look to improve at least one of these rooms. But I don't know how much Webb. I think Webb's probably one of those where they're like, "Hey, can you work with this guy?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can work with this guy." But I don't see him being the one calling the shots there. That's going to be George and Sean. Wonder how Bo feels. Look at the whatever the graphic for this video, that one smoking a cigarette walking across the bridge, that's Bo. That's how Bo feels. These one contracts tie up the players, which makes them trade capital. There's not a lot of trade, probably not a lot of guys that are going to garnish a lot of trade interest from other teams, but with injuries sustained in camp and whatnot, yeah, you could find somebody in here maybe that might get you, a late pick that you can move around with. But without picking anybody up in free agency, without necessarily a very good draft last year, Jody Barron's up for trade in my book. Could trade him. Wash your hands to that. I say Dobbins will finish with at least 10 games. Well, he did last year, so that would be about average for him. Alec, Denver free agency has been crap. It's been non-existent. So yeah, that's probably what we would say. Crap.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I suppose we may, in the fullness of time, right? We may get a better understanding of it. Like, but I on certain deals, I get it. Like people go and you're just, it's like buying a house, right? You're like, I can go to this price, and I don't think it's worth more than that, and another person does, and who is right in that instance. But certainly, say Tyler Algiers, that's one where you kind of look and you go, that seems to have been reasonable. Like,
could have had that.
Maybe ETN. Let's go what it used to be. I would have possibly done that, but I can get it if they decided, right, what the price. But again, so much happens behind the scenes. So we may never ever get an insight into what went on there.
No, but we will have we won't completely judge going back to, so Alec, the Denver free agency has been crap. I just wanted to add so far. Okay. It's not over.
There's
it's not over. Like, we picked up J.K. Dobbins in like June last year.
And
we
made the Franklin Myers trade in late April when that happened.
Yeah, so it's early yet. Big E, great commenter, great guy. Thomas from Jacksonville getting on that trade for him, and then turn around and call Miami Dobbins about A-Chain. How about, like, is Waddle completely off the books now? Is he not a possibility?
He wants to fight Patrick Surtain.
Yeah. Maybe that's all for show. I don't know what that's all for.
Maybe it's a desperate plea for help. I don't know.
Now, one time we heard Thomas was available for a second round pick. Now Jacksonville's saying, we're not interested in trading him. I can promise you they are definitely interested in trading him for the right price. I think what happened there was it came out that they would possibly be interested in moving him for a second round pick, and they had like 6 teams call, and then the Jaguars said, "Oh no, we're not trading Thomas." I don't know where that came from. So now they're pushing for a first round for Thomas. So we'll see how that works out. There's so much the like you said, the behind the scenes stuff. We just don't know. We don't really know. David, I bet Webb doesn't have any say. Probably not much. Vic, Lamar had enough talent. At times he had a couple, but he like I do feel like they kind of let Lamar down a little bit. Like towards the end there was just nothing around him. And Colin, is that a result of him just making too much money and they couldn't do it? Or
no, but the year after his MVP, like his first MVP season, right? His top receiver is Hollywood Brown. Like, I mean, I don't think they did put talent around him. I think they should have done more. Look, people will always have different opinions on that, but I think when you see the talent, like look at the Seahawks last year, look at the receiving talent that they had, look at the Eagles the year before with AJ Brown and Smith. That is putting talent around, you know, the QB. So after he goes and wins the MVP, right, in 2019, they pick up, right, Barner as a running back and Adams as a tight end. Jarrell Adams, Kenjan Barner. I mean, oof,
Yeah.
they did give him Dobbins in the draft, but you know they certainly didn't put a whole lot of wide receiver talent around him. I would argue, and I think again when you've got QB on a rookie deal, that's when to do it. And Lamar, look, Lamar earns big money, but that's quarterbacks in their second contracts. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes, as we're seeing now with Kyler Murray and with Tua, it doesn't work out in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, gosh, the money they spent on Tua. That's Russell Wilson type stuff. Dobbins may not stay healthy 7 games. Alec, why are you doing this to me, man? Yeah. So there's what is it? History is the best indicator of future, some intellectual crap like that. I leave that to the smart guys like Brett Helbers and Colin Cronin, Zach Seegers, all you negative Nancys. But I will say this. He has been unlucky, and he's been susceptible to different injuries. It's not like his knee goes out every year, or he has concussion issues. It's kind of been freak injuries with him. I went back just last night, watched pretty much every Dobbins play last year, and I think it was worth the risk. I just think we need somebody else to help carry the load. When the games start getting rough, when he starts getting tired, let's get him out of there and give him a break. I think we get more than that out of him this year. I think we're talking about Webb here. I bet he does. If he indeed was calling plays, he may have ideas to use these players in ways Sean didn't. I'm sure that he was in the room. I mean, that those rooms work. There's the conference table. They're all sitting around, like when they're getting down to their final 53. You got people arguing for people. So I'm sure Webb was arguing for some people. I would bet he was arguing to keep Ingram. I don't care what Colin Cronin says about Evan Ingram. He is going to have a breakout season this year. So bank it. Draft a stud running back. They better. I think they need to. So, column upset if they get one of the big, 3, running backs in the first, or maybe even early second. Talk about like Coleman, Pearson, Washington.
They all come with caveats this year. Now, look, you don't know exactly how it'll work. I
know, but I'm just talking about the process. Like it would be okay if they took a first round running back this year. If the player's there, the process would be okay. You still don't know if it's going to work out. You don't know if you're going to get junk. But would you be comfortable if the Broncos did invest a first round pick in a running back?
Yeah, because it's pick 30.
Exactly, a second rounder.
I would have real qualms, unless you are taking an absolute superstar with a top 20 pick. But pick 30 is, and look, again, it could shake out differently, though I do think teams seem to be getting a little bit better at understanding the draft. And the consensus is this is not a particularly strong or top heavy draft class.
That's not. It's not deep. There's not a ton. There's a few that I like. Coleman would be one of them. Maybe I should hit this real quick. Where did you go? Yeah. So Ron, I did say this earlier. We need either in free agency or the draft, we need a bigger running back that can run between the tackles.
Yeah.
Just
Otherwise,
otherwise,
it'll be Return of the Hobbits and the Fellowship and no rings.
yeah, it'll be that's terrible. I'm gonna have to clip that. Yeah, you can't depend on JK. You can love him like I do. But yeah, I mean, history says there's going to be injury problems there. There could be. He could play all the games and get 1,500 yards. He could play 3 plays and be out for the rest of the season. So the criminal part is if they don't have any plan B for that, because RJ is not that. And that's not being down on RG or RJ. T. Fishes says, I feel like Broncos country doesn't expect RJ Harvey to take a step forward. I do. I think he will even play better this year. He'll learn more. He's not the youngest back in the world, but he's not going to get old. I think he will play better. I think they will instill in him that, go ahead and take the 3 yards if it's there. Let's not wait for the 20-yard run every time. Pat Bryant is the injury concern, but he looked great when he was playing well. I do have hopes for him, and I do expect Troy Franklin to play better. I am high on Troy Franklin. Second leading receiver last year, 10 yards a catch, 6 touchdowns, played all 17 games, and a lot better on the dropsies. Also had 282 yards after the catch again. So the only person that had more, and I like the person with the most yards after catch this year. Colm, do you have a guess on who that would be?
Who was our most yards after catch guy this year? And it's not. It's not. Hang on, it's not Harvey.
It is Harvey.
Okay, yeah, okay,
RJ
that's what
Harvey.
I figured.
Yeah, 360 yards by far.
Yeah, because we threw screen pass after screen pass after.
But he made something happen with those screen passes. I mean, we also threw screen passes to other players, and they didn't.
Oh yeah, look, I think RJ Harvey is a really potent weapon out of the backfield. I think he can be. He will improve as a back. I don't think he's ever RB1. I just don't see it.
No, I don't think anybody does. And if they do, good for them. That's fine. The problem is that he's just a little small. He doesn't see.
Right,
like go back and watch.
Improve, but unless he isn't that big, and you have to be. The vision has to be exceptional if at that size you're to be, the guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know Ron. Ron's gonna, they're gonna keep growing. He really likes Harvey. But the smaller back's going to struggle against 300-pound linemen. Yeah, they're just going to grab and throw him down like a rag doll. Now, he's a hard tackle, though, as we saw in the playoff games. They throw him a little dump-off pass. I think it was in the San Diego game, too, where it looks like it's going to be a 10-yard loss, and he takes off for a 40-yard touchdown. So he does have that ability. But, again, it's 3rd and 3. Are you going to hand the ball off to RJ Harvey? Apparently not, because it didn't work. Martin, welcome back to the show, buddy. Good to see you. What I liked about Ingram in the past was that he managed to stay healthy all year. I think he only missed 1 game all season. That is true. Very healthy. Harvey hasn't done anything so far. That's just in case my mom's watching, which she tends to do. Sean's play calling was an issue. Vic, now, his play design, I think, was pretty good. But yeah, I saw a lot of games last year, Vic, where I questioned kind of the flow of the game, the late calls coming in. Like they would find something that works or seem to work, and then where Shanahan would say, yeah, we're going to just do that until they stop it. I never really saw that from Sean. He just gets cute. I've said it 100 times. Sean likes to get cute with his play calling. I don't like it. And apparently he didn't like it because he handed it off to Webb. Thoughts on Sean's play calling from last year for Vic?
Yeah, like I mean, I think you had seen Sean Payton talk about it last off season as well. And he that's what I again could go back to this week, right? And Mace kind of talking about Sean Payton and the couch and overspending on the couch. Yeah, but let's take the fullness of what Sean Payton has talked about over the last year, right? Because he also talked about how his dad was an insurance salesman and he feels you get too conservative as you get older, right? Which is part of the reason.
That's part of the problem. That was the biggest reason. Right? I think that's the biggest reason why he did it. Yeah.
But so we're saluting him and saying, well done, Sean, for recognizing, right? But and the media is doing that. And then they're going, yeah, Sean, well done on your conservatism. Well done on not overspending on that couch.
Those are two different things. It's conservative in two different things. You can be conservative about spending money in free agency and aggressively replacing yourself with a different play caller. I mean, look, I get it.
It's a huge step. Like it's a bigger step.
It's a major step for Sean Payton to do that.
Yeah, for anybody.
Sean Payton and I are about the same age. Okay. So I said this yesterday. If you unfollow me for that, you're an ageist. Screw you. But Sean Payton and I are about the same age. And when you're young, you're invincible. Nothing ever happens to you. You never get hurt. You always, it's never going to happen to you. When you get older, you do make bad mistakes and you do learn from them, hopefully. And then you do tend to become more conservative about decisions you make as you get older. I think he recognized that in himself. And instead of attacking and looking for weaknesses and thinking about what could go right, he was thinking about, if I do this, what will go wrong? What could go wrong? And then he would sit there and second guess himself. So I think it's good on Sean for giving it a shot. I don't think it's the end of the world. Sean isn't going anywhere. He's going to be standing right next to Davis Webb. So we don't have to worry about Davis Webb being in unmitigated disaster, because if he is, Sean's just going to grab the play sheet from him and take back over and we're right back where we were. So harmless thing. I think it's a good thing. I think I think they'll figure it out. Rodney wants to know, Colin, he already knows my answer to this. Stefon Diggs, would you take Stefon Diggs?
No.
Nope. Same boat.
Bad teammate.
Don't want anything to do with it. Ron says Ingram's a dog after the catch.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's the legal side of things, which is really, really worrying.
One thing, really serious.
I think even just as a person and as a teammate, he's just not. He doesn't. I don't think it's not the culture I think we would want.
I agree. I don't want him on a team. Turtle, I haven't seen you in a while. If players don't improve last year, how does that change this year? Well, first of all, the team's worse already this year. I'm trying to think of the players that could improve.
I think there's the possibility for improvement. Certainly,
I think in the wide receiver room.
Yeah. I think, and I suppose you're hoping that Davis Webb, like with the tight ends, it's more you're hoping the play calling, because they're not young guys, right? Like, but you're hoping that the scheme and the play calling changes that. Like you're hoping. We don't know because we don't have the evidence of it, but you're certainly hoping in that respect.
I'm hoping they draft somebody in that room. They are getting older there. So no on Diggs. Thank you, Vic. He clears up the legal battle, but if not, no. I don't even care if he cleans up his legal battle. If he finds a way to get out of that, I still don't think it changes like who the guy is. And
that is the beauty of sports, though. There'll always be different opinions.
Well, David, my fellow monster on Wednesdays now, is all for it. And we argued, and I win because I always win, except with you. Holy hell. I don't know which part you went off on, but yeah, probably. I'm just running behind. There's this. I'm just amazed at how this show has taken off. Like, I cannot keep up with the chat. Let's do a rapid react here. Colin, you ready for a rapid react on chat?
I did wonder what the holy hell. I'm not sure what I said at that point, but
Yeah.
I'm glad it elicited such a response.
Yeah. Turtles frustrated with team. What the F are we doing? Trying to get worse team right now. Yeah, I think we kind of agree on that. But there's time. RJ Harvey ranked 12th running back in touchdowns. Well, he scored 12 touchdowns. I don't know where he ranked in touchdowns, but if that's accurate, that's fine. Almost top 10, but he's a playmaker. 7 on the ground, but he had 7 on the ground and 5 in the air. So very different position. Looks like he doesn't love RJ or Bryant, but will.
Yeah, and that I think
But
that's
solid
fine.
players.
I would tend to agree with him on that. I don't think either will be, but I think they're weapons.
Yeah. Ron says our RB2 is great for Harvey. Can play out of the slot. Yep, great hands.
Well,
Look,
yeah, our RB2 is a weapon, not RB2 is a runner.
Yeah, we love RJ Harvey, but he's a change of pace back. He's a running back 3. He's a he does some things well, but he's a playmaker, and I'm certainly glad to have him on the team. Yes. No one on this show or on any of my shows, there'll be no slander against RJ. But let's be realistic. AJ re-agreed to the room. I still say he was. I still say he would be. Doesn't sound like Column's that high on him, but I think he raises the rest of the room. I think it gives other teams somebody else to worry about. Nobody's worried about Cortland Sutton. Nobody's double teaming anybody. They can just kind of, cover guys. Like the days of getting safety help is probably limited to like maybe Mims running a go route or something. It just doesn't happen very often in this offense. And I haven't really looked a lot, Column, at Webb's got his coaching tree comes out of Texas Tech where they run the air raid. So they're going to throw the ball around, is my guess. He's going to be comfortable doing that. But if Sean's still scheming, does that mean anything? Like he's still got to run Sean's plays, or can he add?
I'm sure he'll certainly add a flavor,
Okay, good. Rams still, F those picks. Yeah, and we're like F those free agency signings. They're all in while we're overthinking everything. Just because you spend big in free agency doesn't guarantee get better. Yeah, nobody's saying that.
Certainly it doesn't guarantee that you'll be successful. Can I also say, because some Denver media made out this week that if you spend big, that you're guaranteed to fail, and the only bad teams spend big.
Neither of those are true. Truth is always in the middle. Also, if you're not trying to get better, you're not getting better. But nobody on this show or any of my shows is saying we need to spend big in free agency. We need 1 or 2 pieces. That's all we're asking for. What if, blah, blah. Vic, you're one of my favorite. I'm not talking about going crazy in free agency. There's players out there. Absolutely. Algier, Otten. Should have signed them both, in my opinion. Signing nobody and not improving a few carries where we need to improve. Won't find that running back wide and tight in the draft. The media makes us like that. The only one I think I've said before would be a tight end. Could be an immediate starter. And it's possible. Although very unlikely, a running back could get maybe by the 4th game could become like RB1. But it'll be Dobbins at first. Wide receiver, I don't see anybody that's going to be a wide receiver 1. The game's just too hard to learn at that position, especially with Sean Payton. His offenses are a lot of, so it's not like when we played in high school or when you played in some colleges. It's not just one route. Like you go in the huddle and I call the play and I know that this wide receiver's gonna, do an out and my tight end's gonna run a little mesh and then I'm gonna maybe have a go route. It's not that way. It's gonna depend on last second changes to the defense, where they go, and they're gonna have 3 different routes that they could be running. And so I'm gonna have to watch 3 different receivers with 3 different optional routes. And I have to know, based on what I see, that they see the same thing that I see. And so instead of doing a go route, he does a curl, or he does a back shoulder, or he sits on the route. That's the kind of stuff that these young wide receivers come into when they've been going up to the line and knowing what route they're going to run. Our wide receivers on the Broncos are not sure what route they're going to run until the ball is snapped sometimes, or at least until they see the alignment. And that's why you will always hear that famous term, it looks like they weren't on the same page. It's not because the wide receiver forgot what route he was called and what he runs on a play. It's because there's 3 different routes that he could be running. And that's just the way it is. So Sean doesn't play rookies much, and that's the other thing too. Vic says ETN worth paying. He's dynamic overall. I was all in on ETN. We'd have been fine with that, especially even for the money that it went. Column, you would have been fine with signing ETN, right?
I would have. Yeah.
That's why he's the best, folks. Vic, Bo got to be shaking his head. We're going fast and furious, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's a crazy contract, and
yeah. I don't know that they can find a trade partner with him unless somebody. They can't.
No,
I don't.
No,
I mean,
no one.
Stranger things have happened.
We watched him play.
Gino just went to the Jets. There's always a dumb team out there that thinks, "Hey, our guy's hurt." Stidham had one bad game.
Yeah, they're dumb people. Yeah, there are dumb people, but like mainstream media people had Geno Smith the top 10 QBs last year. Never should have happened.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I heard somebody say that again the other day. A guy that I respect. Guy was top 10 quarterback.
Ridiculous.
Vic says Troutman getting a raise and a 3-year deal is wild, as you know what. I think Mariota would be a better backup. I think Mariota would be a better backup too. Honestly. No. You're not a Mariota fan?
No, I'm not.
For you're telling me for one game, you would rather have Jared Stidham than Mariota?
No, I wouldn't. I'd rather have Mike Carmelini than Jared Stidham. I'd rather you pick a random number out, a seat number, and whoever's sitting in that seat comes down onto the field and they play QB. And
now for a minute there, I thought you were complimenting me for my quarterback skills, but then when you said any living human, like, here's what I can promise you. I would have never done the fumble backwards pass desperation play, and I probably would have won that game. But whatever. Those days are gone. I can't throw the ball 20 yards anymore, so probably don't qualify. And one hit, and I'm done.
I will say
I can pull a hammy just putting my shoes on at this point.
Like, think about it. Kendall Hinton played quarterback in college, and then when he got pushed, obviously emergency.
Yeah.
That's the one. Quarterback is really tough.
It's a little harder than we think.
I could do it. But equally, we saw what Stidham brings to the table. Lovely guy, probably great to get a pint with, not QB2.
Who's the column? I needed you last night. I did a show, and I needed your quote when I was talking about Ellinger and Stidham. And I was like, you know what? Get rid of Stidham for the $8 million, because if Bo goes down.
Oh yeah, that's the Tom Moore quote, the famously asking why doesn't Peyton Manning's backup take any reps? Because if 18 goes down, we're goosed, and we don't practice goosed.
Yeah, we don't, and it wasn't goose that he said. It was effed. So they can keep Ellinger there. With this team, certainly with this offense, Bo, was the one that made most everything happen. So if he goes down, yeah, just throw Ellinger in there because it's not going to matter anymore. We're not going anywhere without Bo.
No.
Not with these weapons, not with this running game. And we're not even getting into our elite offensive line. Although I am happy that everybody's back.
Yeah,
Continuity's great. You got to love that.
Gotta look at tackles though.
Yeah,
For the
we got
future.
2 tackles. We got one. Well, they're both old. We've got McGlinchey is the highest cap, owns the highest cap hit on our team, and then Garrett Bowles is 33 or whatever. And
You just you have to have insurance. Like
you got to get somebody behind him.
Bowles was unbelievable last year.
Yeah, Turtle, I'm with you. I'm disappointed. I'm not upset. It's funny. I get a lot of people on Twitter or on the show in the comments or after the comments, they watch the show later, and I'll look back. It's like, man, you guys are panicking. You got to figure. There's nobody panicking on this show. I mean, you.
We know
if
we
you
have
can't
no control
question,
also.
if you can't question being the only team that I remember ever not making a single offseason signing by this time, it's not panic. It's just. It's perplexing. It's funny. Jackson, been seeing this name a lot lately. Sean Payton's offense have always struggled in the beginning of the year with slow starts. It's true. Our defense comes out on fire and falls off at the end of the season. Our offense comes out slow, finishes off after the break. What we need is after the break, Bo and J.K. Dobbins to stay healthy, and a wide receiver, a tight end, and maybe another running back. And then we'll be fine. With this schedule, that's not good. The schedule is going to be a first place schedule. And you never know, Colin. Schedules always look like something at the beginning of the year. Now, there are certain tells. Kansas City in December. Going to Seattle at any point in time. There are places, there are games that you can circle and go, oh crap. Okay, I'm going to put that one as a probable loss. But again, you hear this every year. It's like mock drafts. Like mock drafts are huge, and everybody's got, this is how it's going to go. And then it doesn't go anything like that. And then they just move on and nobody talks about how bad their mock draft was. Like the strength of schedule stuff, it's all true. We are going to be playing some good teams, but we don't, like last year's success for the Broncos and for those good teams. There are some teams that are built to always, like Pittsburgh is always going to be like 9-7, or whatever it is now, 9-8 now, I guess. Like you can always depend on Pittsburgh to be solid, but now with Tomlin gone, who knows?
It'll be interesting.
So we just don't know. We don't know. Like, did anybody expect the Colts? I think the Colts were probably listed around number 28 in the power rankings before the season started. And they came out and they just lit up every team they played. They barely beat us on that bullshit call. But that team came out of nowhere. What team's going to come out of nowhere this year? What teams are going to fall off this year? We'll get into that right before the season, of course, when it's fun and it's relevant after the draft, after the camp has started. That's when we'll get into all that. We'll start doing our schedule breakdown. We'll do our predictions. I know you and Stuart will be doing that on the Dublin to Denver podcast. Find the Denver to Dublin podcast wherever you find your podcasts out there, because they are out there regardless of whether they're being strangled or not. Now, this point actually is true. Bring back most of our players to help us start faster. I agree with that. It should. But we have no idea what they're doing. So I guess more patience. So people like be upset in June. Now, June and July is when I'll really start worrying about who we got and who we didn't get. Colin, we've gone an hour and a half already. I don't know what time it is there. If you need to duck out, please.
Let's say, we'll do a little bit more.
Well, please do more. I still have a ton of.
I like Martin's comment here, but this is fan talking.
Well, he is a fan. Martin says Super Bowl window talk has to stop. We're the freaking Broncos. We need to always be in a Super Bowl window. It might be easier when Bo's on a rookie deal, but stop at the Super Bowl window. Okay, Martin, I don't know how old you are. I'm I'm Sean Payton's age. So I watched John Elway's first game in the stadium, and then I watched him play for, was it 16 or 17 years? Can't remember. He either played 16 or 17 years for the Broncos. And we had, in that time, I would say 5 or 6 windows. That's with the Hall of Fame quarterback, and a lot of that with Mike Shanahan. Like, it's not that easy. There's injuries. The window, like the Broncos just got done with a decade of 10 straight years of just being laughable. So enjoy this time. We've got our Bo. We've got a very good head coach. Yeah, these are the good times. I'm embracing them. But Super Bowl windows are a little different. Like, our Super Bowl window is now and next year. And then Bo's going to be due a lot of money. Things can change. So no, the point is that it's definitely open now. But what are we going to do about it? Nobody's saying this is our only.
It can stay open, but you can see what happens. Like even to the Chiefs, right? Like,
Yeah,
they
Chiefs are a perfect example.
you know, and who knows whether, you know, how good they'll be next year.
Hopefully Webb deletes all the swing passes, pass by line play. I watched one game and the same play was called 4 in a row. I would have pulled my hair out, but I don't have any. I'm sorry, Ron. Yeah, nobody wants to see the screen passes and the swing passes too much. The problem, well, there were so many problems with that, but the lack of the running game is what caused so much of that. By necessity, the Broncos just couldn't run the ball after Dobinson went down, and so we went to the screen passes. The Rams, the Super Bowl window, Stafford getting along on the tooth. They are definitely in their Super Bowl window.
They are, and that's an example, but they're doing everything they can to try to maximize it.
I don't always agree with him either, LOL, but so you know, I enjoy you guys and your opinions, whether I like them or not. Ron, we love you on this show, man. This is probably one of the shows where no one gets mocked or beat up for having a different opinion of the host. Like even my hosts, David and Colin, my 2 partners, Zach Stevens during the season. Yeah, we don't always agree. And for some reason, it's okay. In fact, politically, we don't agree on many things. Like, we don't agree on a ton of stuff, but we love each other and we love you guys. And we love all the comments. So Turtle's in on that. Vic, can't get a discount on every player. Nope. Sometimes you have to overpay a little bit, and that's right. So that's what free agency is.
I saw a response to one of Mike Carolini's tweets the other day trying to say that DeMarcus Ware was on some sort of sweetheart deal. DeMarcus Ware accounted for like 8% of the cap that year. Deserved it. Loved DeMarcus Ware. What a player.
Yeah. But sometimes you got to pay. And they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
he was a massive reason we did.
The point of that tweet was everybody saying we don't need free agency to win, you know, yada 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 yada. And I said, well, the last time, I think it was Zach Seeger's tweet actually that I went off of, but Zach tweeted something like, yeah, well, when Elway realized the Super Bowl window was open, he went and got Aqib Talib, Sanders. What's Sanders' first name? I can't believe I can't think of. Thank you. Sanders, and who was the other one? TJ Ward.
Marcus Ware.
I mean, and Marcus Ware. I mean, those were 4 huge starters right out the gate, and they were not all cheap. They were not all cheap late signings. Some of those guys did cost a little bit of money, and were great talents. So yeah, let's not just sit back and do nothing. Sometimes you do have to overpay. That's what free agency is. Don't have that many positions to fill. So honestly, even overpaying a running back or wide receiver wouldn't make. That's the whole point, Turtle, that I'm making. We're not trying to do a Cleveland Browns or a Snyder complete rebuild of the Washington Commanders or Redskins, as they were called at the time. Like, he did this every year or two. He would go spend hundreds of millions of dollars trying to buy a team.
He would bring in lots of players, but
and just try and revamp the whole team, and it never works. And that's not what we're talking about here.
No, he didn't spend any money on the stadium, but anyway.
Hey, Grandizer's back. Hey, gents, it's good to have you back, sir. Welcome back to the show. Vic, still think Russ Mess got. So this is one I see going around, that George is trigger shy. The team's trigger shy because of what happened with Russ. I don't know. I don't really buy that. But maybe. I mean, it definitely has an effect, as all things do, cause and effect. So maybe it's making them a little hesitant, but that was a $300 million, $250 million guaranteed disaster. We're talking about $13 million for a running back. Let's be honest. You set it up right. It's a 1-year deal for $9.
I'll just say quickly on this. I think that Kyler Murray and the Tua deals, I don't think it'll be instantaneous, but I think teams are going to get better at handing out. I think they're going to be more willing to move on, because I think teams are going to realize that if you overpay for your guy, it's going to hamstring you so badly. And so I think teams will be more willing to do it, rather than getting. You'll still get some owners that will fall in love with a QB, but I think teams will get better at it.
I think that also people are seeing how teams are seeing how. And I've always said this, when the Broncos were looking for a quarterback for the last decade, I always said, draft a quarterback every year until you find your guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the pushback I always got was, well, you're going to bankrupt the team, and then you're going to be this and that. The problem isn't drafting a first-round quarterback and missing. The problem is drafting a quarterback in the first round, realizing you missed, and then keeping him around for 4 years, and then maybe a 5th year option, hoping he's going to get better, and then maybe even re-signing a Tua for an ungodly amount of money because you didn't have a plan in sight. Like, that is just terrible management of that position. You've got to have a quarterback in this league. I hate building around. I hated all the take.
Yeah,
let's build a team. You can get your quarterback later.
No.
Like Albright and all these guys are always on board with, you can get your quarterback later. Build in the trenches. Build here. Do that. No, none of it matters until you have your quarterback. None of it. Don't tell me about Trent Dilfer. Don't tell me about the one, or 2 quarterbacks that happen to win it. You need your quarterback.
It's a freak, when it happens, right? Like the Sam Darnold is the exception to the rule, in terms of and just happened to end up in a great position in Seattle. But we have to see how Seattle get on next year now, right? They've lost Clint Kubiak. They've lost pieces. So
they lost Walker.
I recognize we're 143 already, but I will just say, like, drafting every year for a QB, right? Especially like if you don't have one. Obviously, I'm not saying to do it like now that we've Bo, we shouldn't be doing.
No, of course not. It's like drafting Jahdae Barron in the first round last year.
But when you don't have one, it's actually the cheapest way to do it. Like, you can get out of those first 4 years.
The rookie deals. Get rid of them.
The Cardinals did it with Josh Rosen. Now, the problem was they then gave the deal to Kyler, and when they already had concerns about him and remembered that clause. But getting out of the deal is really easy. That it used to be an issue. Right?
Yeah, but it's not. You used to have to sign a first-round quarterback to $100 million deal, or he wouldn't sign with you. That's not the case anymore. Now you sign him, and if it doesn't work out, the only mistake is keeping him. Like, get rid of him, try again, keep swinging.
if there are people watching and you don't know the Jamarcus Russell DVD case story, please check that out. We'll come back to it some other time, but that was amazing.
Ron, even Walmart has constraints. They are going to keep giving cash. Cap is there for that reason, and we could get every star player if they're willing to pay cash. It's not the cash, Ron. It's the cap hit. It's the cap. So Walmart has a good gazillion dollars. This is like the least of their spending. They don't care how much they spend. They're building new facilities. They're going to build a new stadium. They'll put all the money in the team they can. But if they could buy a team and there was no cap, I guarantee you they'd fill that team with they wouldn't care what they paid. They would pay every player. I don't think Walmart, the amount of money they have isn't the problem. It's the cap. They can't fit it all under the cap. But that's not how things operate. It's funny. I bashed the Finns for overpaying Ryan Tannehill and got all kinds of hate. I said, don't pay Tua. I got hate. Both ended up leaving Miami. Wasted money. Yeah. Crazy how Ryan Tannehill had like kind of a little twilight career going briefly. I know some local media were bragging on how they always knew he was going to be super, super great, but it turned out to be like a one-season deal. Was that the Titans that he played for? Something like that? Ryan Hill?
Yeah. He did a great year. And sometimes that can happen. Sometimes it just kind of falls your way.
Sam Darnold is another one. I wonder who the next Sam Darnold will be. I still have faith in the 49ers backup.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, I still like Mike Jones. Liked him out of the draft. Still think he goes up a little bit.
So much depends where you end up, the people around you, and who the play caller
is. Coach, the system, the fit. That's all it is. Like a lot of these guys could probably be good. They just go to the wrong team, and they don't want to use them the way you know.
Yeah, and sometimes the head coach, like Nathaniel Hackett, could have had John Elway, Shannon Sharp, and Terrell Davis, and he still wouldn't have won games.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Well, except John Elway, because he's the greatest human to ever walk the face of the earth, except for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Vic, we will see. This schedule is way tougher than last year. Yep, agreed. Talked about that. I mean, more so in spending the money. They did the Wilson contract, maybe hesitant now. I think they're more, I mean, I know they didn't like spending that money, but that was all cap money and, the guarantees. But again, those guys can write $300 million contracts like I write a $300 check. So I don't think they're gun shy. I think they're cap shy. They're doing something. Guys, they're going to make a move. That's a Carmelini curse promise. The Broncos are going to make a move. It's going to be for a big time offensive player. This offense doesn't scare anybody. We need elite talent. Yep. Turtle agrees with that. Man, I'm going fast now. Are we gonna actually get through the comments? I don't know. I will. Yeah, let's bring some Majay Pirine back, which I actually wouldn't hate, but it would have to be on a league minimum. Algier Dobbins, RJ would have been that would have been my choice for the running back room. Colin, you'd have been happy with that room, right?
Oh yeah, that would have been nice.
And so doable, man.
Yeah.
Like so doable. What the hell? Damn, sorry, I wasn't subscribed. I'm old. This YouTube is for youngins. Tell me everything's for youngins. But thank you. Are you subscribed now? I hope. You should be. Because we love having you here. T Fish is hypothetically, how many yards does Bo throw for if we got AJ Brown? You know, for the year, 4,500 yards. That's 3,900 yards now. He goes 4,500. Go ahead, Colin. Call your shot. Nobody's watching. Just about 1,000 people. Nobody will remember.
No, I mean, I think AJ Brown is a good player. I don't think he is. I don't have him as elite. I don't think he is that. I don't think he is JSN. I don't think he is what Cooper Kupp was a few years back.
Pickens.
there's just like the issue, right, that I have with the Brian Thomas, the Pickens, and with AJ Brown is they just sometimes they don't show up, and I think that's going to be a real issue for Sean Payton. I mean, I think he values. I think that's why we've brought back some of the guys that we had, because he values guys who try and put it all on the line all the time, above guys with maybe more talent but who phone it in, like AJ Brown reading the book on the sideline, Pickens just deciding one game last year that he just wasn't going to play. Like he just he's on the field, but
he's not going to get away
right
with that on the Broncos.
Right, you know,
that's Dallas. They love that shit in Dallas.
Yeah, but that's why I think, you know, that's the issue that I have is, you know, wide receivers will always be divas, right? But divas who do, like Randy Moss, right? peeing on the goalpost, like dumb, right? But Randy Moss showed up, like so that's what I'm okay with, the dumb stuff, but it's the not trying that really I think is a real issue.
Yeah, and you spoke for 5 minutes and you did not answer the question. I'm not letting you off the hook. Give us a number.
I think you're probably right. I think probably in and around 4,500 yards.
Yep, I think so too. I think he'd make the room better if you keep everybody else, and then you can drop little Jordan Humphrey off at the bus stop, or Michael Bandy. When are you gonna get me on the show, Lucifer? Do you have a studio? Do you have a setup? Because if you do, just send me a DM. Would love to have you on the show. Can't believe Jared Stidham let us down like that. Well, it was a tough game. Okay. Don't worry about it, T-Fishes. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, we do.
We need to draft an offensive tackle. It's way overdue. We haven't drafted one since 2017 when we took holding penalty on number 72, Garrett Bowles. At least we haven't been hearing that every year. So
talk about a turnaround. And
maybe
a chat for another day when we haven't got almost 2 hours.
Yeah, maybe we've got maybe Randy Moss or not Randy Moss, but Riley Moss will get off of the getting called for everything this year too. Trade for Pickens? Yeah, I'd trade for Pickens. I'd give a first and a player for him. I'd give a first and a third for Pickens. I know for next year. What do you think the Broncos are going to do with their first round pick? Better than Pickens? Go ahead and tell me who's better than Pickens in the first round.
I hate his attitude.
I don't care. I hate your attitude. Turtle. If they can say Joker, we can say Super Bowl window.
Can you tell Mike is a dad? Can you?
That's a great comment. Yeah. If I hear Joker again, yeah. Oh my gosh. Super window is real. Ask Lamar and Josh. Yeah. I sent out a picture on Twitter the other day of the Super Bowl window, and it was this huge wall, and it had a window like this big on it. And that's our Super Bowl window right now. Probably no more dynasties other than the Chiefs. Like, who really could be?
Patriots went back to back after us. It's real tough to do, but the Patriots did it.
Didn't the Chiefs win 2?
Chiefs win 2 back to back.
Or did they skip a year?
No, I think they did.
Sacred Serpent 823, first time commenter. The Broncos have proven to their guys that they take care of them. I do love that. They value and value continuity. I think healthy receiver room with years in the same actually puts us ahead of most of the league. Well, I agree with the sentiment, Dark Secret Serpent. I don't think it puts us ahead of most of the league. The Broncos wide receiver room was one of the bottom of the league rooms by all measures, or by most measures. But I think it definitely is, when you're talking about Mims and Franklin. Yeah, I see improvement coming from both of them. Throw that in with RJ getting better. So yeah, I'm all orange colored glasses that. But to say it puts us ahead of most of the league, I don't know if I'd go that far. I think that there's room to improve in that room. Okay, how many yards does Bo throw for if we don't sign anyone? What are you doing to me, man? 4,100 yards. All right. By the way, these are absolutely official, and you can go to your favorite betting site, and put that down right now.
Yeah.
But he had 3,900. He had 3,900 yards last year. 39, 31. Yeah, he'll throw for 40. He'll throw over 4,000 this year for sure if he stays healthy. Jacoby Lane, USC pick at 62. He's way better than Pickens. Is he? Because this is the pro game. But Clifton, I don't know how often you watch the show. I feel like you're the guy that comes in and does the fake breaking news ones, but maybe it's a different guy. I don't do draft stuff, certainly before maybe April, but I have guys that I bring on that do draft stuff. I don't even know who Jacoby Lane is from USC. But I'll take your word for it. Super Bowl is a small window, bathroom window, but it's open. It's because it's stinky. It's stinky at the locker room right now where that window is, because it's a very stinky free agency so far, Paul. But thanks for joining in. And then Paul finishes up, says City's a decent player to tack on to a trade. That we talked about that a little bit earlier, Colin. Trying to find a trade partner for a player that has a high cap in a position of that we don't need. Probably not going to get maybe a swap of like a 6 and 7, just so that the team that wants him gets him.
Who's going to want to take no one's going to want to take that on. I mean, he's not nice guy. Again, City was great fun. I think it really helped to alleviate some of the pain after Bo going down, and that being really crushing, right? And fans gathering around, and that was a fun week to do. He can't win you a game,
no. Okay, so let's say it's July and we're in camp, and Stiddy is still on the team, and Team A loses their starter. They promote their backup. They don't have a backup. They don't really trust their backup, like a Richardson or somebody like that. Maybe one of those teams is crazy enough to say, hey, I'll give you a 6th rounder for a 7th rounder for Stidham. I don't know. I'm just saying I've seen it all happen. It could happen. Column, longest show ever, probably. But it's crazy how there's so much to talk about when the Broncos have absolutely done nothing. But the Monsters never let you guys down. We got through every single chat for the first time in the history of the show. That's whatever we called it. What did we call that? The fast something. We'll have to the name for it. And then in the course we get one. I know it's big ifs, but can we eliminate the drops? Yeah, I think we'll eliminate some drops this year, guy. I think that's going to be
I mean,
be high on the list.
The hope is Mims can take a jump as well. And again, it's like the complementary pieces, right? That's one of the things that Seahawks did so well last year, in that they had JSN, they had Cooper, and they brought in Shaheed, and Shaheed, that just changed the way that defenses had to think about how to defend against them. And I think that was made all the difference. And again, there were people in Denver media that said, no, don't trade for Shaheed because it's just a rental. Yeah, a rental that won him a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares if it's a rental in a Super Bowl window? Yeah.
Think about right when we won Super Bowl 50. Think about what that was like. That. Those are the things that sustain you. It's so much more meaningful to do that than to be the Steelers and to be 9-8 every Like to give me the highs and lows rather than just the
Yeah.
the mediocrity of a 9-8 team year in, year out.
Yeah, there's it's okay to win a Super Bowl. It's okay to go all in, win a Super Bowl, and then have to, recover for a couple years while
We're
get
not
rid of some
saying
players.
live every day like it's your last, okay? Then you end up broke and alcoholic and you have syphilis. Not advocating that, okay?
I'll take the
But
first two.
but
Broken alcoholic I
being
can live with. I'll skip the last
being
part.
sensible and taking some risks when the team is has shown you have your QB, right? You have the defense. We talked about how good the defense has been. It's difficult to maintain that. That is magnificent.
So Vic says fast wrap up. I'm not sure how doing a 2-hour show is a fast wrap up.
P. Smythe is on his way to Nebraska right now. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I'm Patrick Smythe's gonna come get me. Good luck, Vic, at the casino. You didn't report back yesterday. I think you went to the casino yesterday. So were you up or down? But
luck.
Broncos country, all you monsters out there, we appreciate every monster in the chat. We got through them all. This is Column. It's my favorite show of the week. It always is, and I get a lot of mail and chat and text. You're just loved out there. I don't know why. I'm going to keep you around though. So for all of you guys in the chat, for Colin Cronin of the just the greatest. Is it Dublin to Denver or Denver to Dublin?
Dublin to Denver.
Why did I say Dublin to Denver?
And to make it confusing, I'm Colin from Cork across social media.
Yeah, but it's like it says the Denver and your logo up here.
We're Dublin to Denver.
Well, that's what I thought, but I look up the logo and it says
it's cut off the.
I see.
Dublin off, so it's just got to Denver.
Let me see. So now I have to. I'm not going to end the stream. I'm going to go back.
This is a weekly thing. Generally, that Mike and I do at weekends.
There it is.
Sometimes Saturdays, sometimes Sundays.
Yeah, we're here every week, guys.
We're here on the weekends. You will find us chatting football.
If you're new to the show, Colin Cronin, NFL expert, lives in Dublin, Ireland, so there is a substantial time difference. So it's very late there. That light you see in the shades is just outside lighting. It has nothing to do with the sun. The sun never shines in Dublin.
If only.
The sun never shines in Dublin, but it does shine on the Denver Broncos. It will shine very soon. I guess we're going to meet in the middle. Not a good free agency, not going well, but it's not the apocalypse for whoever asked that. Not. It's fine. We got a ways to go. This dashing young man on the screen that you see right there, George at his finest. He's got a gift for us. It's coming very soon. So hang in there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. For Colum, this is Mike. I will see you all next weekend with Colum. Can't wait to talk again. Go Broncos.